Welcome to the Money Answer Show with host Jordan Goodman. Whether you are starting out, deep into your retirement, or somewhere in between, the Money Answer Show has the know-how to help you. Now here's your host, Jordan Goodman.
Welcome to the Money Answer Show. This is Jordan Goodman, your host. My guest this hour is Lee Phillips. He is an attorney, an expert on LLCs and asset protection, the founder of Legalees and the LLC Wizard. Welcome to the Money Answer Show, Lee.
Good to be here.
Let's just start with your background a little bit. You've been at this a long time, but just give people a sense of your background and the expertise you built up in this field.
I've been helping high-end people across the United States do the taxes and the asset protection stuff for about 30 years now. I'm a United States Supreme Court counselor and have a story that I got into asset protection on my own. We won't go into that today, but I lost everything I had because I got sick. 56% of all bankruptcies in the United States are the result of somebody simply getting sick. When we say asset protection, you think lawsuit. No. There are a lot of reasons that people lose their assets through no fault of their own. They don't have to be doing anything shady. It just happens, and illness is the major one. So
let's explain
LLCs.
That. How do you lose your assets if you become sick? Is you don't have enough health insurance, or how does that work when you get sick that you lose your assets?
The health insurance did cover things, but you don't work for 3 years. You don't have any source of income, and that ends up being a big problem.
So if you have a LLC or asset protection set up, how does that protect you from losing everything in the case of getting sick?
The things in an LLC are protected through what we call charging order protection. There are two aspects to an LLC in the form of asset protection. One is the corporate shield, which you are familiar with. You understand that the corporate shield protects the officers, owners, directors, you, from what happens in the company. The LLC has an additional facet to it that corporations don't have, and that is charging order protection, which protects the company's assets from what happens to you. You get in trouble. You get in trouble because you hit a kid on the way to church on Sunday. That's not a business problem. You get sick. That's not a business problem. You get divorced. That's not a business problem, although it is bad business, Jordan. I'll give you that.
Yes.
But you have a problem. The question is, are you going to lose your company and all of the assets? And if you have a corporation, the answer is yes. You are going to lose those assets because your creditor, your bankruptcy trustee, whoever it is going to come in and they are going to take the stock in your corporation. Once they have the stock, then they have the right to get a new officer, new president. They name themselves as president, and they have control over all of the assets of the company. They sell the assets. They do whatever they want with it. Back in the 2008 real estate meltdown, and by the way, we're talking to small businessmen. We're talking to real estate investors. We're talking to people who just want to save a bunch of taxes. LLCs are good for all of those reasons. Back in the 2008 meltdown of the real estate bubble, one property would go bad. The guy would have to sell that property, only he couldn't sell it, so he defaulted on it. The bank sold it. There was a deficiency. They would go look to the next property to make up the deficiency, and the real estate investments just dominoed on down to where the people lost everything. If those pieces of property had been in LLCs, they would not have dominoed because the charging order protection would have protected them. In order to understand charging orders, you want to figure this out now, Jordan?
Yeah, let's do a little bit on charging orders right now. Yes, explain how that works.
I've got to give you a history lesson. 400 years ago in England, the only type of business entity that there was a partnership. And you and I and Joe we all go into business together, and we spend 30 years, and we make a wonderful business. And then Joe goes out, and he gets in trouble. Now, I don't know how you got in trouble 400 years ago in England. You made the king mad at you. You didn't pay your taxes. You got divorced. Something happened. Joe's creditors are going to come in, and they're going to take his partnership interest. Once they get his partnership interest, by law, a partner can do anything. Joe's creditors can come in, they can sell all the assets of the company, they can wipe out the company, and you and I have nothing to say about it because any partner can do anything. That's not fair. Jordan, you and I, we've worked 30 years to build up this company. Joe goes out and screws up, and we lose everything. That's not fair, is it?
No, it isn't.
The Brits said, that's not fair. So they said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make Joe's creditors, once they get a judgment against him, they have to go back to court and they have to get an order which charges his debt against our partnership. They can't take his partnership interest. They just apply his debt. Basically, it's what we call an economic lien. They put an economic lien on Joe's interest in our partnership. Now, you and I, we still control a partnership. We can still do business. We can still get paid, everything else. But if we declare a profit, if there's a profit, we have to pay Joe's share of that profit to Joe's creditors. Now, Joe can continue to work in the partnership. He can continue to get a wage. But his creditors stand on the sideline with an economic lien, and they wait for the partnership to declare a profit. If the partnership declares a loss, they take the loss also. They stand in Joe's economic shoes. But look at what just happened. If I am a small businessman or a real estate investor, and I get in trouble with another company, I get in trouble personally in my life, I get sick, my creditors, my bankruptcy creditors, all they can do is go to court and get what's called a charging order against my LLC. LLC has the charging order protection, and they wait for the LLC to declare a profit or a loss. What that does, the reason it's such great asset protection is if one of the pieces of property in an LLC goes bad, they can collect all they want from that LLC, but they can't domino down to get the next LLC. The most they can do is get a charging order against that LLC after they sue me, the owner of the LLC, directly.
So what is the actual protection? What is the actual protection an LLC is protecting you against the charging order? It sounds like they can still get at the profits of your partnership, but you're saying you might have separate LLCs, say in real estate, for each property would have a separate LLC as opposed to having it all in one place. Is that what's protecting you?
Yes, you have separate LLCs for each one of the pieces of property. That may be too cumbersome because you've got the paperwork, the fees, everything else for each LLC. And if you're in California, it's $850 a year for each LLC. So it may be too expensive, and you can put 2 or 3 pieces of property in one LLC, 2 or 3 pieces of property in another LLC. But let's say I'm just a businessman. I have my company, I have my backhoes and my front-end loaders and stuff. I'm an excavator. If I get in trouble personally, or I'm in another company and that company goes bad, they can't come back against my excavation company and take the equipment in my excavation company. All they can do is get an economic lien against that LLC. Now, if it's a corporation, if my excavation company is an S corp, then they're going to sue. They get my stock in the S corporation, and they now own the excavation company. They sell the equipment. They do whatever they want with it.
So that has no asset protection, S corporation, you're saying?
The S corporation does not have charging order asset protection. It has the corporate shield. The corporate shield is going to protect me, the owner of the excavation company, when one of my tractors kills somebody or does something in the business world. It protects me personally.
Yes. Okay. All right. Good.
So,
we're gonna get into some more detail. We're gonna go to a break right now. My guest this hour is Lee Phillips. He is the founder of Legalees and LLC Wizard, which gets into this in more detail. There is a website related to this, which is legalees.com, which is spelled LEGALEES.com, and also for the LLC Wizard, there's a website, LLCwizard.com. We'll be back after this.
We're always talking business. Talk to an expert. Call now toll free 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. Voice America Business Network.
We've all been there, struggling to keep up with credit card payments, searching for a simpler, safer way out of debt. Well, here it is. Cambridge Credit Counseling is a nonprofit service that has been helping people reduce or eliminate their credit card debt for over 20 years. Most of us have made late payments and even gone over our credit limits. Before we know it, our balances are out of control, and we can barely afford to make the minimum payments. If this sounds familiar and you're ready to take control of your debts, call Cambridge right away at 1-800-897-2200 for a debt-free analysis. Cambridge will work with your creditors and may be able to reduce your interest rates and get you out of debt fast. In fact, Cambridge's typical debt management clients save almost $150 every month on their credit card payments, and they're debt-free in just 50 months. So there is a simpler, safer way out of debt, and it all starts with Cambridge Credit Counseling. Call 1-800-897-2200 for your free debt analysis. Cambridge Credit Counseling is a Massachusetts-based nonprofit agency providing services nationwide. For complete licensing information, visit them online at cambridge-credit.org. Jordan Goodman is an affiliate. He recognizes quality solutions, forming relationships to help improve the lives of his listeners.
Has your small business been turned down for a loan by the bank? Is lack of capital hindering your business growth? Small businesses unable to obtain bank financing or tired of merchant cash advances can now get the financing they need. Corporate Lending Solutions provides short and long-term capital, revolving lines of credit, and unsecured business loans. Does your business need help with payables, supplies, or payroll? Corporate Lending Solutions has powerful programs to help. While getting a small business loan can be a long, daunting process, with Corporate Lending Solutions, it's simple and takes only 1 to 3 days. Call 800-261-6478 or visit corporatelendingsolutions.com to learn more. 800-261-6478. Jordan Goodman is an affiliate. He recognizes quality solutions, forming relationships to help improve the lives of his listeners.
We're always talking business. Talk to an expert. Call now, toll free, 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. Voice America Business Network.
You've been listening to the Money Answer Show with Jordan Goodman. If you have a question for Jordan or his guest, please call us now at 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. Now back to Jordan.
Welcome back to the Money Answer Show. This is Jordan Goodman, your host. My guest this hour is Lee Phillips. He's an attorney. He helps people with LLCs and corporations. He is the founder of Legalees.com and LLC Wizard, which is a whole program to help people set up LLCs. Welcome back to the show, Lee.
All right, let's get going.
So what is the advantage of doing an LLC over running your business through a sole proprietorship, basically running it through your personal tax return and your personal bank account?
Well, the main reason is for the asset protection A sole proprietor has no asset protection. It's you doing business, end of discussion. You do something wrong in the business, you get sued. You get in trouble personally through the illness or whatever it is that we were talking about in the last segment, you lose your business. So the LLC will protect you from what happens in the business, and it will protect the business assets from what happens to you. So there's a two-way street there for asset protection that an LLC offers. Corporation only offers the one avenue, and that is it protects you from what happens in the company. That's the corporate shield.
Now, there are different states, and there's a lot of people out there saying it makes sense to create an LLC in particularly Nevada and Wyoming because the asset protection that they offer is at a much higher, stronger level than with other states. Is that true or not?
I hate to pop anybody's bubble, but I'm going to say no, it isn't true. Here's the reasons why. One, all states have adopted the Uniform LLC Act. The first one was in 2006, and the latest, I think, was a pretty big amendment in 2013. But each state basically has the same law and basically the same asset protection rules. And the Uniform LLC Act says that the only remedy for a creditor of an owner, we call them a member, an owner of an LLC is to get the charging order that we talked about. The corporate shield is identical in each state, basically. Now, why do you have people running around saying you need to incorporate or do your LLC in Nevada or Wyoming or New Mexico or wherever it is? Because the people who are saying that, it's a huge business. You have to have a registered agent in that state, and they are going to charge you $200, $500, $1,500 a year in order to be the registered agent. The only thing they do for you is receive your mail. Now, let's say that you are a real estate owner in New York. You're in New York, and
yes,
you set up a Nevada LLC or a Nevada corporation, and you own your piece of real estate in New York. As soon as I figure that out, I'm your tenant. As soon as I figure that out, I ain't going to pay my rent because you can't do anything about it. You have no right as a Nevada corporation to be doing business in New York. If you are in New York, you have to register your corporation, your Nevada corporation in New York. As soon as you register your Nevada corporation in New York, you become subject to all New York laws. I don't care about Nevada. If I'm going to sue you, I'm going to sue you in New York. And all New York laws apply to you. If you don't register that company, you can't do business in New York. You can't own property in New York. Oh, you can put a piece of property title into the LLC or the corporation that's in Nevada, but you have no rights to evict somebody. You have no rights to collect rent. You have no rights in New York. So explain to me exactly why you have a Nevada corporation. The only reason you do...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, they say that the Nevada courts protect businesses more than other courts when they get charging orders and in general are more business friendly. That's basically what they say.
That is correct, maybe. Actually, it's really not. They say, oh, there's no tax in Nevada. That's not true. There is a corporate tax in Nevada now for foreign corporations. But where are you making your money? You're making your money in New York. You're collecting your rent in New York. You pay your taxes in New York. You also have filed tax return in Nevada. You don't owe anything because everything was paid in New York and all the money was earned in New York. But you pay this guy his $500 a year, and the only thing he does for you is forward one piece of mail and wait around in case the sheriff ever serves you a lawsuit. Then he's going to sign for the lawsuit and hurry and send it to you so you can deal with it. That's the only thing this registered agent does in Nevada. Now, if I can sign up 1,000 people paying me $500 a year to do nothing for them, that's a pretty good deal. 50 years ago, Nevada did have some pretty cool laws, but they're not that much cooler than anybody else's laws these days, one. And two, if you are doing business in Ohio, you have to be subject to all of Ohio's laws. I don't have to go to Nevada to sue you. The court in Nevada is never going to see that lawsuit that I file against you in Ohio. I got you in Ohio. I got you under all of the laws of Ohio. I got you in Ohio, buddy. I don't have to serve you in Nevada. I don't have to do anything in Nevada.
Yeah. All right. In addition to the asset protection, the new tax law gives a tax break to people who have LLCs. Explain how that works and what's kind of benefit are small businesses using LLCs going to get from that?
Well, the neat thing about an LLC is you get to choose how you're going to be taxed. The LLCs were created in Wyoming in 1977, and that's one reason they say, oh, you should go to Wyoming to do your LLC. Well, they were created in 77. One of the $64,000 questions was, how is the IRS going to tax this? We actually had subchapter S, which taxes a small corporation, and we thought that IRS would create subchapter T or some such thing. It took 20 years, but in 1996, the IRS finally came back and said, we don't care how your LLC is taxed, check the box. Do you want it taxed as if it were a sole proprietorship? Now, an LLC taxed as a sole proprietorship, we call it a disregarded entity, but an LLC taxed as a sole proprietorship still gives you all of the asset protection, but it has the taxation of a sole proprietorship. If there's two or more of you, you can choose to be taxed as a partnership. You can be taxed under subchapter S, like an S corporation. You can be taxed under Chapter C, like a C corporation. So you get to choose how you are going to be taxed. That's a huge advantage with this entity. It's the only entity that you can do that with. Well, you can choose between C and S for a corporation, but you get to choose how it's going to be taxed. Now, if it is and what you may be alluding to is, if it is taxed as a pass-through entity, that's basically everything except a C structure, Chapter C. If it is taxed as a pass-through entity, Section 199A of the code, this is new code under the Trumpy tax laws, and it's relatively complicated, and you've never heard about it because the media has never told you about it. But basically, the little business guy, and he doesn't have to be that little, but the business guy can take all of these expenses, figure his profit, and he basically can take 20% of his profit off the top, tax-free, this year.
And the purpose of that was to subsidize, to encourage small business formation because they're the ones that are doing most of the hiring. Is that the reason they put in that 20% tax break?
Well, they put in a 20% tax break to give the small guy a tax break. Yeah. I mean, everybody beefs and bitches and moans about all of the tax breaks they gave the corporations. I mean, they dropped the tax rate to a flat, 21%?
Correct.
And the media, everybody else says, oh, they screwed the little guy, they gave everything, they gave the whole loaf of bread to the big guy. Well, no, they didn't. If I can take 20% of my profit tax-free, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So you need to have all of this. You outline what your taxation is in your operating agreement. You outline your asset protection facets in the operating agreement. When you file your LLC in Nevada or any other state, you're going to use the state's form. Every state has a form online except California. Welcome to California. And you simply fill out that form, give them your credit card, pay the annual fee or the franchise fee, as we call it, and you now have an LLC. But that's where most people stop, or a lot of people do. You have to have a lot more than that if you want the asset protection. If you want to do the taxes and stuff, you've got to go beyond that. It's kind of, whoops, we filed. I've spoken to over 1 million people in live audiences. And people come up to me, and one of the first questions I ask is, how is your LLC taxed? And they look at me and say, Drew, I don't know. I'll bet a third of the people don't know how their LLC is taxed.
Yeah.
Well, if they're taking 20 or 30% of your money, don't you think you ought to know how it's taxed? Because if you're a real estate owner and you're collecting rent and you're being taxed as a subchapter S corporation, you're being screwed. You should have it taxed as a partnership.
Now, you put together a program to actually help people implement this called the LLC Wizard, and you've got a special deal for my audience. Just tell people what they can get and how they can find out more about that, if this would be appropriate to them for asset protection.
LLC Wizard goes through everything. I'm just going to take, for your folks, a chunk of it, and that is the operating agreement. I have 2 hours of audio instructions or tutorial where I teach you about operating agreements, how to operate with them, what you can put in them, what you can't put in them. I teach you how to write them. Everything's on a computer CD. If you want to generate an operating agreement, then you can do that, and you generate it on the computer screen. You listen to the tutorial, and you get a unique operating agreement. It's $97 on the internet, and on the bonus buy on the internet, it gets down to $47. But for your folks, Jordan, let's do it for $18.99. That's a 60% reduction over the best buy on the internet. All the folks have to do is go to LLCwizard.com and then /Jordan. Now, when you get on the site, they're going to ask you for a code. And the code is Jordan, too. So LLCwizard.com /Jordan, and then the code is Jordan.
So this is part of the LLC Wizard helping people creating the operating agreement, which is the basic thing you need to create the LLC in the first place. So I'll just repeat that.
That's what you need.
LLCwizard.com /Jordan. When you ask for a promo code, put in Jordan. It's $18.99. Normally it's like $47. And this could save you a huge amount of effort and taxes by having an LLC as opposed to running your business as a sole proprietorship. We're going to take a break. This is Jordan Goodman of the Money Answer Show. My guest this hour is Lee Phillips. He's an attorney, founder of Legalees and also LLC Wizard, which you can find out about legalees.com and llcwizard.com. We'll be back after this.
Stocks, bonds, investment opportunities, financial news, and talk. We can help. Call us now toll free, 866-472-5790. 866-472-5790. Voice America Business Network.
Attention heroes, current and former firefighters, law enforcement, military, medical, or educational professionals. Heroes can receive rewards averaging over $2,500 when they buy, sell, or refinance a home. Heroes come first. Along with the Homes for Heroes is the nation's largest hero reward program. Their mission is to provide extraordinary savings to heroes who provide extraordinary services to our nation and its communities every day. Learn how you can purchase a home for no down payment, no closing costs, and get money back at closing. Find out how you can own for less than you may pay for rent. Get your hero rewards at heroescomefirst.com. That's heroes, HEROES, comefirst.com. 888-437-6114. Jordan Goodman is an affiliate. He recognizes quality solutions, forming relationships to help improve the lives of his listeners.
Do you or someone you love have a life insurance policy that's no longer needed or not affordable? Did you know that you can sell your policy for cash? Your reason for buying life insurance has probably changed. Thousands of Americans turn to life insurance settlements to help sell their policies. They act as your representative, getting the highest market offer for you. You've got nothing to lose by simply inquiring. If you're over 64 with $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may already qualify. Call 877-485-6681 to get your free non-binding appraisal or visit fundinglife.com. Life Insurance Settlements. Discover the true value of your life insurance. 877-485-6681. Jordan Goodman is an affiliate. He recognizes quality solutions, forming relationships to help improve the lives of his listeners.
From the boardroom to you, Voice America Business Network.
You've been listening to the Money Answer Show with Jordan Goodman. If you have a question for Jordan or his guest, please call us now at 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. Now back to Jordan.
Welcome back to the Money Answer Show. This is Jordan Goodman, your host. My guest this hour is Lee Phillips. He's an attorney, an expert on LLCs to help you with asset protection and save on taxes. He's the founder of Legalees and LLC Wizard, and the websites for those are legalees.com and llcwizard.com. Welcome back to the show, Lee.
Good to be here, Jordan. Don't hold that attorney stuff against me, okay?
I won't.
Okay,
it's a
good.
temptation, but I won't. Yes. All righty. So we talked about saving the 20% because of the new tax law. But what are some other techniques that you can use with an LLC to cut your adjusted gross income and therefore cut your tax bill?
Well, when I say asset protection, like I said earlier, we talk about lawsuits and things, but your biggest asset protection threat is actually the IRS. They're taking the 20, 30, 40% of your income, and that's a huge asset protection threat. The LLC will allow you the most flexibility in the world of the IRS. And you know that people who do real estate or small businesses somehow generate wealth on their own. The catch is your small business, your real estate are tax shelters. But your accountant's never brought you in, put his arm around you and said, oh, by the way, we need to use your little business as a tax shelter. You need to think of it as a tax shelter. I mean, we're taxed to death. There's the income tax, the state, the federal. I rented a car in Tampa a year or two ago and had it for a week. They must have wanted the car in Orlando because that's where I dropped it off. The rental charge was $1 a day. When I got to Orlando, it was $87 after 7 days. It was $80 in taxes and stuff. Let me show you. Jordan, you've heard that interest is the eighth wonder of the world?
Compounding interest, yes.
Compounding interest, huge deal. Let's take $1 and double it 20 times. $1, $2, $4, $8, $16, $32. You got it?
I got it.
You end up with $1,048,000 and change. Over $1 million. But wait. There's no tax on that sequence. Let's tax each one of the doubles, each profit. So I've got $1, I double it to $2, but wait. I got $1 in profit, so I've got to tax it. Let's tax it at 40%. Fed, state, California, you're 40%. So I don't end up with $2. I have to take it at 40 cents, so I end up with $1.60, right?
Right.
I double $1.60, $3.20, but I have to tax the extra $1.60, so I don't end up with $3.20. I end up with $2.50 something. You understand where we're going?
I do. What does it end up with after all of the compounding?
After all of the compounding, well, when you double it, you get $1,048,000. But when you tax it, people will say, well, I lost $400,000, 40%, $400,000, so I end up with $600,000, right? No. You end up with $12,089. $1,048,000, $12,000. Let me think. Which one do I want?
So how does an LLC specifically allow you to shelter yourself against those kind of taxes? You're able to take more deductions, or what are the ways you can use that to
You
cut
can
your
take
taxes.
more deductions. You can implement benefit plans. You can deduct your insurance and stuff. Implement benefit plans. Implement different types of retirement plans. You can put a SEP in place, and you can put a lot of money away in a SEP. If you're a small businessman, a single employee, you need to think about these things because you can take $100,000 off the table each year.
So you can do it as an LLC, but you could not do that as a subchapter S or a sole proprietorship, is what you're saying.
No, you could do it as a subchapter S. Or even a sole proprietorship, you're limited as to things you can do. The least effective is the sole proprietorship, then the partnership, then the sub S, and you can actually get some benefits in a C structure, a C corporation or an LLC tax under Chapter C of the IRS code. You can't get in the other ones, but for a small businessman, don't go there, guys. Stick to the subchapter S or the S-type taxation or the partnership or the sole proprietorship. But they're your tax shelters. You can deduct a lot of stuff. You can put the benefit plans, the retirement plans in place, and those are a big deal. So you can write off your computers and your cell phone and your travel and all sorts of stuff that you can't do as an individual. And the neat thing about it is, you ever heard about above the line and below the line accounting?
Yes.
Most people don't understand that. The line is the last line on page 1 of your 1040 form. It happens to be the adjusted gross income line. Now, your adjusted gross income determines your tax rate, and everybody just said I committed heresy, but basically it does. It determines when you phase out your deductions and all stuff. Everything is linked to this AGI. You can't affect your AGI. As an individual, the only thing you can do to control your AGI is contribute your $5 or $6 grand or whatever it is to a standard IRA. That comes out above the line before your adjusted gross income is calculated. But the two places that you can affect above the line are your business and your real estate. Those enter your tax returns above the line. So not only am I getting a deduction, Jordan, but I'm also entering that deduction above the line. Your charitable contributions, your medical expenses, that sort of stuff, that's all below the line. Your home interest, that's all below the line. It doesn't affect your AGI. So if I can work above the line and affect my AGI, I can actually put myself in a lower tax bracket. All of this stuff makes a huge difference when you realize that it's above the line and not below the line.
And this is true at the state level as well as the federal level, right? And if you have a tax at a state level,
that is correct.
Like New York or California, it's the same impact. So you're actually getting an impact at the federal and state level, lowering your taxes on both by having the LLC and having things set up as a business. Is that correct?
That is correct. And if you can drop the adjusted gross income when you make your contribution to your benefit plan or to your retirement plan through the company, that takes it out above the line, so it drops your adjusted gross income.
So you're saying the two big benefits of having an LLC are the asset protection we talked about and saving on taxes. So if somebody today has a business they've been running for a while as a sole proprietorship and don't have those advantages, what is the process of converting from a sole proprietorship to an LLC, and is that very complicated and hard to do?
No, it's not complicated at all. You're going to have to file your LLC with the state, and you can do that. Then you need the operating agreement, and you need to issue yourself stock certificates. We call them membership certificates in an LLC. You have different languages for an LLC than you do a corporation. But in the package that I have for you about the operating agreements, it generates automatically all of the stock certificates. the log where you keep all of these in. All of these things have to be done in order to prove to the courts and to society that this is a real company and it's not what we call your alter ego. The operating agreement, even if you've got one, you need to review it because chances are a lot of things aren't in it that need to be there. For example, poison pills. I can put language in it which says my membership interest can never be assigned to another person. That makes it really hard for a creditor to come in and get it, and the courts will honor it. The neat thing about this operating agreement is you get to write down what you want, and as long as it's not illegal or against what we call public policy, you can write anything in there. There are things you have to have. For example, you can go out on the street in my state, ask anybody who this guy is. They will tell you exactly who it is. Dad's dying. The patriarch of the family's dying. Daughter comes to me and says, Lee, we've got the best law firms in the state. We've got the best CPA firms in the state. I want you to just look over things. They had a large LLC. I said, where's the operating agreement? They couldn't find it. They finally found it at the accountant's office. The accountant has to read the operating agreement to see how the taxes are structured. And when you get your 5-page operating agreement from LegalZoom, it doesn't have this sort of stuff in it. Anyway, there are 4 elements to a corporation. By law, an LLC only gets 2 of them. Most attorneys don't understand that. The 4 elements are transferability, the limited liability shield, centralized management. That means that the management can be conducted by somebody who is not an owner. When you went down to get your LLC to the lawyer and he charged you the $1,500, he said, do you want it to be member managed or manager managed? And you said, I don't know. I don't care. Well, it does matter because that's one of the 4 elements, and in an LLC you only get 2.
Yeah.
Transferability, okay. Continuity of life. Continuity of life means it survives the death of an owner. The real short story is this company didn't have continuity of life. When Dad died, the company ended. That's okay. We fixed it. We patched it up. We reinstated it. It went on. The real problem is one of the kids died 3 years earlier. The company had disappeared 3 years earlier. If they had been sued and the attorney had read the operating agreement, he would have said, there is no LLC. This is a partnership, and he would have won his lawsuit.
Okay, we have to go to a break. We have to go to a break. We'll come back. We have to go to a break, though. This is Jordan Goodman of the Money Answer Show. My guest this hour is Lee Phillips. He's the founder of Legalees and LLC Wizard. You can find out more at LLCwizard.com and then do /Jordan. And they actually have a special deal for you where you can get the whole operating agreement we've been talking about. This is Jordan Goodman of the Money Answer Show, and we'll be back after this.
From the boardroom to you, Voice America Business Network.
Looking for an investment option? Consider Secured Real Estate Income Strategies. Secured Real Estate Income Strategies is a real estate-backed option offering investments with a monthly income objective. The goal of the strategy is to lend money to real estate developers. SREIS offers an 8% preferred return per annum, plus a share in any profits. While there is risk, including loss of capital, and you should carefully read the offering circular for full details, Secured Real Estate Income Strategy screens each real estate loan carefully. Call 888-444-2102 or visit securedrealestatefunds.com to learn more. 888-444-2102. Jordan Goodman is an advisor to and part owner in Secured Real Estate Income Strategies. This does not constitute an offer to sell or a solicitation of an offer to buy any securities. Securities offered through North Capital Private Securities, member FINRA, SIPC.
Are you a homeowner tired of making monthly mortgage payments with little progress towards paying down your principal? Does paying off your home in 5 to 7 years without making larger or more frequent payments sound appealing? Paying off your home in full in 5 to 7 years is really possible thanks to Truth and Equity's Mortgage Equity Optimization System, a money management approach that puts your money to work for you 24/7. If you own a home with some equity, have a decent credit score, and verifiable income, you owe it to yourself to learn more about Truth and Equity's program. There's no need to replace your mortgage or refinance in many cases. The system works for new home purchases as well as current mortgages. Your home is your largest investment. Own it outright in 5 to 7 years. Call Truth and Equity 888-262-5540 or visit truthandequity.com 888-262-5540. Jordan Goodman is an affiliate. He recognizes quality solutions, forming relationships to help improve the lives of his listeners.
Get the news on our shows and other happenings by following us on Twitter. Find us at VoiceAmericaTRN or twitter.com/VoiceAmericaTRN.
You've been listening to the Money Answer Show with Jordan Goodman. If you have a question for Jordan or his guest, please call us now at 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. Now back to Jordan.
Welcome back to the Money Answer Show. This is Jordan Goodman, your host. My guest this hour is Lee Phillips. He's an attorney specializing in asset protection and LLCs. He's the founder of Legalees and LLC Wizard, which you can find out about at legalees.com and llcwizard.com. Welcome back to the show, Lee.
Good. Let's go.
So once you've set up this operating agreement, there are things you need to do to make sure it stays legitimate. You just can't set it up and then not do anything. What are some of the steps people need to take on an ongoing basis to maintain the legality of an LLC?
The legality of it needs to be maintained by paying the fee to the state every year. But the question is it going to really protect you when you get sued or when you're in trouble personally? Is it going to protect the company? And the answer is kind of no. I ask the question all the time, which one has the best corporate shield, the C corporation, S corporation, or LLC? The answer is they're all identical. But the small business guy gets screwed because he doesn't maintain his corporate shield. The operating agreement is your Bible. And a big advertising firm in L.A. called me up a couple of years ago, and they had done everything. They got everything. They went to court. They got sued. It took the court 15 minutes to decide that they were going to set aside the LLC and they were going to allow the creditors to come after the owners directly. The problem is they hadn't done what they needed to, even though the paperwork was in place. So you got to have the paperwork, then you got to cross the T's and dot the I's. The question is this company a real company or is it you? And if they can say that it's you, then we got you.
So what are some of the things that you need to do to say it's a real company and not just you? What are some of the steps you need to take?
Here's the catch. Get your operating agreement out and read it. Read it with colored pencils. Anytime it says the manager does this, then underline it in one color. Anytime it says the member does this, underline it in another color. Anytime there's a date or a notice, a time period, underline it in the third color. And you will make a list of what the manager has to do, what the member has to do. Now, if you've only got a 5-page operating agreement, then you haven't got enough information to go by. If you don't write it down in your own operating agreement, you get the state's operating agreement. And every state has a 300-page operating agreement, basically. So if you don't address it, it defaults to the state. And would you believe the state doesn't necessarily have your best interests in mind?
That makes sense, yeah. So but if you're doing it right,
there.
Yeah, if you're doing it right,
you get the protection.
But what are some of the steps you need to do it right? You have to have annual meetings, keep minutes, those kind of things. What are some of the steps you need to keep it up on an annual basis?
Annual meetings, take the minutes, and there's a real art to taking minutes in a meeting. The first time I ever took minutes in a corporate meeting, I had 17 pages worth of notes, and the old attorney I sent them to chewed my butt and said, these are no good. The art of a lawyer is to be able to write something so that it doesn't say anything. So you have to write your notes so they don't say anything. The big one is if you commingled money. If I can find you commingling money, I got you. I don't care what your paperwork says. So you've got to jump all of these hurdles, and it's not too bad. In the LLC Wizard, I have a system. It should take you about 2 hours a year. Are you willing to spend 2 hours a year to maintain your asset protection shields and stuff in your LLC or your corporation? I mean, that's all it takes. It's not a big deal. But you've just got to show that this entity is not you in an alter ego form.
Yeah.
Because the government really doesn't want to protect you. They want you to be liable.
I mean, a lot of people, it seems overwhelming, even though you're saying it only takes 2 hours a year. All this, people don't have the legal background that you do. It seems overwhelming. The payoff is that you're going to be protected against taxes, lawsuits, as you say, medical issues, and save a lot in taxes. So I guess that's the trade-off people have to make. If they want to get those benefits, they're going to have to put the work in on setting up this LLC in the first place.
And you can't pay the lawyer to do it for you. These are things you just have to do on your own. And I sit you down on the audio instructions, and I walk you through it. It's not a big deal. Somebody's just got to patiently sit you down and teach you how to do it.
So let's just, before we break, just tell people one more time what they can get, the LLC Wizard, and how they can get that, the special offer you're making to my listeners.
I'm making the offer of the operating agreement portion of the LLC Wizard. It stands alone. You don't need the other pieces. Not to do the operating agreement anyway. But the operating agreement is available to your listeners at LLC Wizard, LLCWIZARD.com/Jordan. That's for $18.99. That's 60% off the best deal you can get on the internet. And the neat thing about it is it's tax deductible too.
Sure.
So LLCWizard.com/Jordan, and then it's going to ask you for promo code. The promo code is Jordan also. So you can get that. But that'll walk you through your operating agreement and everything else.
In about 2 minutes we have left, just kind of sum up the difference in people's lives that it'll make to set up an LLC and do everything we've talked about, as opposed to running their business as a sole proprietorship and not taking any of these steps.
Well, it's going to give you a lot of peace of mind, because you can rest assured that if you get sued in the business, you don't lose your personal house and your dog and your cat and your kid and your car. You can rest assured that if you get sued personally or get in trouble, you don't lose your business. And your business is probably your biggest asset. So let's protect your business from your personal problems. And so it makes a huge difference. And then from a tax standpoint, it allows you to work above the line, lower your adjusted gross income, so that the whole tax thing it's just a different realm that you're playing the game in. You're playing above the line instead of below the line, where most people play.
And you have these new tax benefits, the 20% that you didn't have before, which can save you a lot in taxes at the federal level.
Yeah, and people have probably never heard that. So you need to go in and make sure your accountant knows all about it. And if he doesn't, you get a new account.
Very good. Well, thanks so much. My guest this hour has been Lee Phillips. He's an attorney. He's the founder of Legalees and LLC Wizard. You can find out more about all we've talked about at legalees.com or llcwizard.com. Thanks so much for being a guest on the Money Answer Show, Lee.
Thank you, Jordan.
And we'll be back next week with another edition of the Money Answer Show. Goodbye for now.
Thank you for joining Jordan Goodman and the Money Answer Show. If you have a question for Jordan, please visit his website at www.moneyanswers.com. And be sure to tune in every Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on Voice America Business. See you next week.